Welcome to the Sprinkles of Spirit podcast with Lisa Yoga Angel. I'm Lisa, and I am your host. I am a yoga and meditation teacher from South Florida with a lifelong passion for personal growth, mindfulness, and spirituality. And I am so excited to start this journey with you this year as I have been inspired to create a space where we can connect and receive a weekly sprinkle of positive energy, divine guidance, and to spark a conversation about how to cultivate self-love, confidence, and faith through living a well-balanced life in our mind, body, and spirit. Stay on the path with me to be uplifted, feel empowered, and to strengthen the connection between you, your higher self, and the universe, which is always speaking to us. I am so grateful you are here, and I look forward to building this community and to helping you remember you are exactly where you are supposed to be, and you are loved beyond measure. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in, and hello to everyone on YouTube. Last minute decision of mine to throw the camera up and film this one. So thank you for being here. So it is July, and wow, can't believe it. And I want to get into our manifestation series, but the part one, I decided, I can't really talk about manifestation without talking about shadow work, because I really believe to get to the light, you have to go through the dark. You have to look at the dark before you can reach the light. And we're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about the shadow work. What is it? And I'm going to give you, I'm going to recommend two of my favorite all-time books on shadow work that are tools that you can have for life, these books, because I believe shadow work is never really done. It's just a process. It's a journey. And I'm going to leave you with some journal prompts today that can help you if this maybe is something that you've never even thought of, or, you never have learned anything about your shadow. This is a good episode to listen to. So grab your journal if you haven't, and allow yourself to get quiet. And for those of you who are new, first, please breathe with me. So, okay, I have my singing bowl here. Wherever you are, go ahead and close your eyes and take a deep inhale through your nose. And an easy exhale out of your mouth. Getting fully present and fully into the now. And allowing yourself to be fully present to really hear today something that's meant for you. And then slowly open your eyes. Okay. It's magic. Okay. So let's talk about the shadow. And yes, we always end with our Sprinkles of Spirit card. You guys see that? We're going to get with that. Your angels have a message for you. So the shadow, what is the shadow? So the shadow contains aspects about ourselves that we don't want to look at. And we may have experienced things in life that we don't even realize caused, in yoga, we learn what's called samskaras, right? Or psychological imprints that were placed upon us from certain experiences. And yes, trauma, whether it's a big trauma or a small trauma. And what the shadow does is if we're not aware of the shadow part of ourselves, certain experiences and our life circumstance will most likely place you in situations or circumstances that are going to bring up your shadow. They're going to trigger you, and you have the opportunity to take a look at it and evolve and learn and become conscious of these aspects of ourselves, and then learn the tools necessary to acknowledge them first. Number one, become aware of them. And then number two, how can we let them go and release it and choose the higher thought, right? And it's a whole process. And I do recommend, I'm going to recommend these two books that were pivotal. I've done shadow work along my yoga journey. I continue to do, because like I said, this is a journey, personal development. I just love it. I'm so passionate about it because personal growth is just never ending. I'm not the same person I was a year ago, much less 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years ago. We're always hopefully growing, learning, evolving, peeling back the layers of ourselves and discovering something else, and life will continue to put you in situations that bring up your shadow, and the more you can dive into this self-development and self-inquiry and become conscious of these dark aspects of yourself, the more you will grow and peel back those layers and uncover, the you that wants to express itself, your higher holy self, right? And step into the world with fluidity and ease, and you will experience less conflict internally and externally, is what I have found. Listen, if you're someone who's moving through life and you're triggered a lot, that there's something to look at. If certain people trigger you, certain circumstances make you uncomfortable, insecure, fearful, filled with shame, filled with guilt, there's some shadow work that can be done on this, And so I recommend these books that I'm going to share with you today. I recommend, of course, therapy, whether it's, there's so much information out there. Listen, there's so many podcasts, there's so many spiritual teachers, authors, coaches that have so much information out there for you. Just dive deep, Google shadow work, and a plethora, of information is at our fingertips. That's such a blessing. And that's abundance, by the way. Having all of this available to you is a form of abundance, And I'm so happy that you're listening today to me talk about it, because I have worked on my shadow self, which contains a lot of fear. Mostly fear is my biggest shadow, and insecurity, and really the self-love journey. I had to dive deep into shadow work to get to self-love and really understand what it means to love yourself, and what it means to unconditionally love yourself, and understand those aspects of yourself, and understand where they came from, why you are the way that you are, or, what my triggers are, or, oh, now I can become conscious of it. And I think of like a car, right? And I always say, it's not like my fear just disappeared. Listen, every time I hit record on the podcast, and put this up on YouTube, there's fear. But then I go, okay, you know what? I'm so lit up by all this stuff on the inside. It's really my passion as a teacher, that I go, okay, hi fear. You're going in the back seat because I'm driving, and it's a choice, and I'm conscious of it. But the more that I do that, the more I'm building my resilience muscle, and the more I'm building that confidence and stepping into my light, and letting the shadow stay behind me. So, okay, I'm going to share with you the two books that first, I'm going to read a paragraph from the first one. So grab your journal, because I want you to write these books down, and I highly recommend them. And this author, she's no longer with us, sadly, but if you Google her, I consider her like the pioneer of shadow work, and her name is Debbie Ford. And this is one of my favorite titles of any book. I wish I wrote it. I'm like, oh my gosh, I just love this title. really spoke to me when I heard of it, and I lit up and I was like, oh my God, I have to read that book. So the name of the book, and here it is for those of you watching on YouTube, is The Dark Side of the Light Chasers. Can you guys see that? There it is. The Dark Side of the Light Chasers, Reclaiming Your Power, Creativity, Brilliance, and Dreams. And this is by Debbie Ford, endorsed by Deepak Chopra. You know, he says, a quote on the cover is, in this profound book, Debbie Ford systematically outlines the steps to wholeness and transformation. And that's what I want you to understand from today's episode, is that when you do this type of work, you're really diving into self-development. And, you know, when we're not aware of our shadow, there's parts of ourselves that are fragmented. And that's why you'll find yourself in situations or with someone in front of you who's triggering you. And life will continue to put you in those situations and trigger you, because life tries to get you to grow and transform and take a look at it, right? That's why I always say, you know, with our partners in life, they're our mirror. You know, your particular partner ended up in your life to be your mirror and, you know, show you your crap. Because we all have it. We all have these parts of ourselves that, you know, are just difficult. And it comes from experiences, usually in the past or childhood possibly, that were traumatic, whether in a big way or a small way. So big T or little t, traumatic experiences that cause, and what we study and learn in yoga, samskaras. It causes a samskara, which is a psychological imprint upon the psyche, and really causes our shadow self, these fears, these insecurities, these aspects of ourselves, to be deeply hidden, you know. And you may have heard the expression, the issues are in our tissues. You know, the body holds on to a lot of emotional trauma, pain, struggles, challenges. The body will hold on to it. So especially if you're on your yoga journey, maybe you're in yoga teacher training, or, you know, again, if you're just on the self-development journey, I really highly recommend exploring yoga, the physical practice, because as you unfold your body, these samskaras reveal themselves and unfold and may come up. And I want to keep it real here. Shadow work can be quite painful and quite uncomfortable. And you're ready for it or you're not ready for it. I find some people are just like, I'm not going there. I'm not going there. I can't look at it. But you will come to a point where life is throwing it kind of at you, and it's like, okay, I have to look at this because I want to progress from this. Like, this is getting old. If you're someone who has a repeated pattern or a repeated mistake happening or repeated negative thought patterns, and it's like the same kind of conflict and unease, and situations will arise repeatedly, there's some shadow work that needs to be done. And it's when we dive deep and get to know ourselves better and take a look at it, become conscious of it and aware of it, so then we can begin to heal and release and let go. And does it mean shadow work ever ends? I don't believe it does, because like with me, it's fear, right? That's always going to pop up, you know, but now I have the awareness. I know when it's fear popping up. I know when it's insecurity. I know when it's the I'm not good enough tape beginning to play. I have the awareness, and then I have the tools and the practices that allow me to move through it, you know, and then allow me to step into my light, you know, and get out of the dark. So I'm just going to read a paragraph from this book, The Dark Side of the Light Chasers by Debbie Ford, because this is a good paragraph. So she says, most people are afraid to confront and embrace their darkness, but it is in that very darkness you will find the happiness and fulfillment you have been longing for. When you take the time to discover your whole self, you'll open the door to true enlightenment. One of the biggest pitfalls of the information age is the I know that syndrome. Knowing often prevents us from experiencing through our hearts. So I'm going to repeat that. Knowing often prevents us from experiencing through our hearts. Shadow work is not intellectual. It's a journey from the head to the heart. And I just love that because she explains, many on the path to self-improvement believe they have completed the process, but are unwilling to see the truth about themselves. So this work sits in the heart, and it's not the head. We can say, oh, I know that intellectually. Like, yeah, I know that. I know I need to work on myself. I know what my triggers are, But okay, have you gone there? Have you really gone there? And again, this is deep work, but it's necessary work if you want to evolve and progress and really raise the vibration in your life and in every relationship in your life. So before I get to the journal prompts, I'm going to share with you the second book, that has helped me. And during 2020, I finished a course with one of my teachers, Ashley Turner, completed Yoga Foundations for Mental Health. And she was the one who recommended this book. And this book is amazing. And it was by her teacher, Mona Miller. And it's called Invisible Warfare. Look at all my stickies, those of you on YouTube watching. This book is awesome. Buy this book if you're ready to do some serious shadow work. What she says here is, you have two choices. Either you go after the thoughts, feelings, and memories, or the thoughts, feelings, and memories will come after you. Which will it be? So that's what I mean when I'm telling you, life will continue to put you in situations where you're going to get triggered, and the more you can become aware of your triggers, the more you can move through them, again, with fluidity and grace, and really live life with less conflict, less challenges, and those repeated patterns and repeated situations begin to lessen and disappear, and then you become more compassionate for others, and you have a better understanding about other people in your life too. You'll begin to notice, that person probably has some shadow work to do, but we all do. We all do. So in Invisible Warfare, just reading a little bit, from the book, do you want to change the world? Then change you, right? To experience something different, we all have to do something different, Yeah. And there's all these chapters on fear, on shame, on guilt, that are it's just such a useful, beautiful book. I am going to leave you with some simple journal prompts from Debbie Ford's book that you can start with before we get to our angel message for the week. Okay. So write this down. What story have I created about who I really am that explains my current life circumstances? What resentments, old wounds, anger, or regrets do I carry in my heart? Who in my life have I been unwilling to forgive? What needs to happen for me to forgive myself and others? Those are deep questions. They can bring up some uncomfortable memories, experiences, and I encourage you to listen to this episode again. Take some time, get quiet by yourself when you have a day or a few hours, create your sacred space, light your favorite candle, maybe grab a cozy blanket, and write. And some emotions may come up, but that's good. It's all processing. Again, I highly recommend maybe working with a therapist, a spiritual coach. Grab these books, because this work is necessary before we can get to the light and begin to manifest, which is what we're going to talk about in the next coming episodes of this podcast. How to manifest the life of your dreams, right? Whatever that means to you. It is possible, and it is possible to raise the vibration in your life and to live life really being filled with joy. We're meant to live a joyful life. We're meant to live in the light. We're not meant to live in the dark. And it does require work. It requires the self-development, the self-inquiry. And if you're here still listening, I know you're on that journey and you're doing awesome. And I'm so happy that you found this podcast and you're tuning in with me this year. Because you're really going to see, the fruition of the work, that you're doing on yourself, and it's going to be awesome. And manifestation is so fun. And of course, I have lots of books on that. I'm going to recommend, I'm going to explain to you everything I've learned. I'm going to break it down into several different episodes because there's so much, to talk about. And I don't like these episodes to get too long. So let's get to our Sprinkles of Spirit card. Here we are. Okay, so what are your angels saying to you this week? So your angels are saying, your intuition always guides you. I tune into my heart and follow the path that feels right. And I'm showing this for those of you on YouTube. Your intuition always guides you. So I love this card because we all have that inner voice. And, talking about the shadow, as I was talking about it, I'm sure your inner voice is already speaking to you. Listen to that inner voice. That is your higher self. When you know, because you know, right? You know that you know because you just know. It's that inner voice. It's really your heart space. It's your higher holy self speaking to you when something feels right. It's because it is right. And everything is energy. Take it back to science, right? If all of this starts to ever sound too out there or too woo for anyone, everything is energy. The universe, the world moves in resonance, right? Everything's vibrating. When someone walks into a room, everyone can feel that person's energy. What energy are they carrying? It's either high or low. They're either, you either feel like, oh, that person looks really pissed off, or that person looks kind of depressed or sad or mad, or the person that walks in and raises the vibration of the whole room. They're filled with joy. They're filled with happiness or pumped up. Everything is energy. And so we feel it in our heart. And that's your intuition. That's your inner voice. So I tune into my heart and follow the path that feels right. So I'm going to end this with one final journal prompt. What feels right for you most in your life right now? What feels right the most in your life right now? What feels right? And why? Okay, so yeah, I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you, YouTube, for those of you watching and those of you listening. And thank you. I'm so happy to have you on this Sprinkles of Spirit journey with me this year. And more to come. Make sure you're following me on Instagram for daily inspiration. take a class with me here on YouTube, check out lisayogaangel.com. I have an online library, a recommended book list you can also check out. I have a free workshop for my empaths out there. I always forget to share all the things. Oh, and Insight Timer just published another beautiful self-loving kindness meditation, which if you've never tried meditation, it's a good way to start. That's on Insight Timer. All the links below in the show notes. Thank you for being here. Until next time, have a beautiful week. Namaste.